I don't even have a smart-ass little intro here because we've got way too much to talk about, so let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your May 22nd, I almost forgot what day it is, NXT review. And bear with me, if you don't want to hear the typical house cleaning shit, maybe fast forward about 5 minutes, okay? Because I got a lot of shit to say before we get to the NXT review. Number one, if you guys saw the last video I put out, I am back in Twitter prison. And why am I back in Twitter prison? Because I dared to say the truth about a fictional character named Sasha Banks. What did I say? I said Bayley also lost her tag team titles at WrestleMania, but she kept coming to work and now she's a champion. Maybe you ought to come to work. And my good friends Richard and Shannon from the Married Marks podcast decided to flag that as hate speech and get me suspended on Twitter once again. So I come to you guys, my usual suspects, you know who you are. I humbly request that if you see anything you like on this channel in the next 7 days or so, if you wouldn't mind giving it a share, it would mean the world to me, seeing as I can't do it myself. I'll still be blowing up everybody's Facebook because they haven't gotten to me on Facebook just yet. But it's a bit of a pain in the ass, and the countdown is on, and I think it's about 6.5 days I have left until I get my my Twitter back up and going. If you want to follow me on Twitter, or if you're not already following me on Twitter, and if you can't read the description box down below, follow me at SpazPhoenix1. That's SpazPhoenix, all one word, and the number 1 at the end. Now go back on my channel the past couple, other than the Twitter video that I put out there, just because it was ridiculous. Yes, I'm still sick. I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm going to be perpetually sick. We did the Money in the Bank preview, myself and Guapo. Kristen wasn't able to join us. She was out in California taking pictures of bridges. Good for her. Hope to have her on next time. But for those of you that didn't get the announcement that I did make on Twitter a little while ago, we are not doing the pay-per-view pick'em concept anymore. A, because it was really all the scorekeeping, because you guys are so great and because you guys came out in such numbers, the scorekeeping was taking up half of my pay-per-view watching time. That really wasn't the goal. I was pausing, I was catching things, I was getting backlayed and then getting spoiled on stuff, and whatever the case may be. I do want to say that in the Money in the Bank review, people came in and I guess they sort of clicked the video and they were making their predictions in the comment section while they were listening to the video or what have you. Please do not take this as a indication to not interact with us down in the comment section or up in the chat when I put it on as a live preview, whatever. If you want to have your say down in the comment section below, I encourage you to do so. If you want to talk to other people down in the comment section below, as long as you're not being dicks, because then I just won't approve the comments, please do that. Please put your stuff in the chats. If you guys amongst yourselves still want to do the pay-per-view pick'em thing, do your rankings, etc. among yourselves, that's cool, that's fine, and I'm kind of flattered that you guys take my idea that far. I won't be keeping score though, so please be aware of that. Now, that being said, the response on the preview videos that we do are usually pretty good. The other thing about the preview videos is because the preview videos are the only time I really talk about the main roster. You guys know I don't review Raw, I don't review SmackDown, and with the introduction of the 24/7 championship, I don't really want to come up here and talk about the main roster most of the time. So what I'm hoping, by taking the pay-per-view pick'em aspect out of a particular pay-per-view preview, that we will get a chance to slide in other topics, other bits of conversation, other backstage stuff, other stories from the dirt sheets that don't make it into any of my other videos. And I think we managed to do that in the Money in the Bank thing, so much that I took pieces of it. And this is something I sort of stole from Good Mike Work, because this is what he does with his podcast. I've sort of removed individual conversations from the video and released them as their own little clips. So if you guys look back in my channel, you're going to see a clip that is just our conversation about the Sasha Banks situation. You're going to see a clip that is just our conversation about the new Bray Wyatt gimmick. And hopefully you guys do that. I mean, I know the preview videos we do are long. The one we did for Money in the Bank clocked in at 2 hours and 2 minutes. I am perfectly aware, I'm not an idiot. I know a lot of you guys don't have 2 hours to listen to a big massive thing like that. So let me know down in the box below. This idea that I have of removing individual clips of individual topics and releasing them as separate videos, is that something you guys want to see more of? I put these ones out there kind of as a tester, but this is what we're going to do going forward. Less structured, less regimented, less, we've taken the game out of it a little bit. We're going to sort of use the whatever pay-per-view's coming up as a route to sort of more talk about general WWE main roster stuff. We're going to do that for... We did it for Money in the Bank. We're going to do it for Super Showdown. Yes, I know people have their opinions of Super Showdown. I'm strictly going to talk about the show. We're going to do it about Stomping Ground. We're definitely going to do it around SummerSlam weekend. You guys know I'm seeing about 1 million shows that weekend, and I'm going to talk about all of them, even the ones that aren't televised. So get ready to be bored by that. I encourage you guys to check out my other playlists, as you always do, the NXT, the NXT UK. NXT UK did not get done last week. I told you guys when my weeks get full, the one that is going to bite the bullet is the NXT UK. I mean, it doesn't get as much attention as some of the other things on here do. But this week, I mean, actually, it's already happened. I just haven't watched it yet. I know we had Pete Dunne, Walter 2. I will be reviewing that at some point. And that's those famous last words on the Spaz Phoenix channel. I'm going to do it at some point. There's the Off the Cuff series. There is the Q&A. If you want to still interact with me, even though we're not doing the pay-per-view pick'em anymore, you want to be part of the Q&A. Go back to the WrestleMania Q&A. The next one is going to be sometime either just before or just after SummerSlam. Put your questions down in the box below if you want to be a part of that. Destiny stuff. You guys know 2 weeks ago I was at the Destiny Retro show that had Billy Gunn and Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Josh Alexander and a bunch of other people. I have not released my full highlights thing for that yet. I'm going to do it sometime in the near future. I have, once again, been releasing individual clips. There's a big promo from Billy Gunn, which was good. There's a big promo from Channing Decker. If you guys don't know who Channing Decker is, you should check him out. He's pretty cool. Imagine The Miz if The Miz existed circa original ECW. That's always been my comparison point. There is why is my brain going blank? There is Josh Alexander, our current Destiny champion, disposing of AEW's MJF. And speaking of AEW, they're coming. It's a thing. The t-shirt joke is almost over. Double or Nothing is this coming Saturday. I am not an expert on indie stuff. I am not an expert on most people involved in AEW, other than the ones that came over from WWE, which realistically is a lot because they're really building themselves on not being WWE. Let's be real for a second. But who is an expert, or at least way more knowledgeable than me, is my buddy, my co-host, Guapo. So, Guapo, all things being equal, all of our schedules aligning, will have sort of his own show on here starting tomorrow night. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat it like any other pay-per-view preview video that we do. It's going to be conversational, like, as I've just said the WWE ones are going to be. But I'm going to sort of give Guapo the reins, and he's going to host. I'm going to be the voice of the non-indie fan, for lack of a better term. If he's telling us about a show, he's telling us about a match, why we should be excited, and all that sort of thing. I'm going to be the one that says, well, what is that? Who is that? What's the story here? Da-da-da-da. So, it's on my channel. It's going to be very much in the vein of what I do here, but it really is, because of the subject matter, it really is going to be more Guapo's show. As I say, all things being equal, we hope to do the first one tomorrow night as a preview of Double or Nothing this weekend. And I will be seeing, I have some family obligations on Saturday. I will be seeing Double or Nothing at some point. I still have to figure out how to watch it in Canada because, you know, they have a TNT deal, which is great. In the States, they have an ITV deal, which is great. If you live in the UK, there's internationally, you can watch it on Fight, which is great. There is zero information out there on how to watch it in Canada. Sorry, my chair is doing a thing. Excuse me. So I'll probably torrent it, or I'll probably watch it on Bolly Rules, or something like that. I will, at one point or another, come up and give you my initial thoughts of, okay, Now they've actually done something. Now they're not a t-shirt company anymore. What did I think of the show, etc. But if we're going to be met with more dick druids, then I might have to be a dick about it. Oh yes. I think that's it. Now, for those of you that stayed with me through that ramble, I thank you. We're up just about at the 10-minute mark. For those of you that fast-forwarded ahead, hello, welcome. Now we're going to talk about NXT. NXT started off this week with a highlight of all the tag team chaos from last week. The Viking Raiders trying to vacate the titles, being challenged by the Street Profits, having their match in the main event, being interrupted by every other tag team under the sun, and then relinquishing the titles anyway, which was awesome, if not a little bit pointless. Then we cut to William Regal in the back in his office announcing that we have vacated titles. We need to find a way to rectify the situation. We need to have the tag team division represented properly. Blah, 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 blah. The Street Profits, the Forgotten Sons, Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, and Fish and O'Reilly are going to take part in a 4-team tag team ladder match for those vacated NXT tag team titles at NXT TakeOver 25. The theme of tonight is let's just announce all the matches for NXT TakeOver 25, which looks really, really awesome on paper. We're going to talk about that at the end of the video. How awesome does this card look? And it's really interesting thing because it has to stand on its own, because this is the first NXT TakeOver that I can think of in a long time, other than possibly TakeOver when it was in the UK, that it's not paired up with another pay-per-view. It's not the precursor to WrestleMania. It's not the precursor to SummerSlam or Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble or Money in the Bank. It is the only thing happening that weekend, and I think with the matches that they've put together for us, I think they know that, and I think that they really want it to be their weekend, which is a lot of fun. Sorry, I know I sound like death. I apologize. I'm going to keep apologizing. We start off the show in the ring with the Undisputed Era getting an Undisputed chant. Adam Cole comes out there and says, we've heard the whispers. We just want to let you know that Undisputed Era isn't going anywhere. We're stronger. We're on the same page. We own that roster and we run this place. Soon we will all be draped in gold. At TakeOver, Kyle and Bobby are going to regain the tag team titles. TakeOver, I'm going to get my NXT title from Johnny Gargano. Gargano interrupts. Says, you wanted a shot, you got it, it's done, but just tell people the truth. The real reason you're excited to have your little family all back together is because you can't beat me on your own. And Adam Cole goes back to the Healy line, but the Healy line that makes so much sense. He says, I got the first fall on you in New York. Which sounds like a cheesy thing to say, but it's not without its merit, because the only reason Gargano is champion is because of the type of match they were having. If it was a standard match, Adam Cole, baby, would be the NXT champion right now. Gargano gets a little bit petulant, a little bit condescending here, and a little bit not quite babyface. He's like, do you not understand math? Did you not shock the math system? Simply, you won 1 fall, I won 2 falls, that's why I'm the NXT champion. Cole says, you know, be condescending all you want, but it eats you alive that I would have won if it had been a standard match. I'm going to do it again at TakeOver, and then he gets cut off because Matt Riddle has come out from the crowd. He jumps the all 4 members of the Undisputed Era, and Gargano and Riddle take on the Era 4-on-2 for a little bit, and that's how the segment ends. I mean, on the one side, you've got Undisputed Era who have everything to gain. You still know that they've got little chinks in their armor, etc. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about Gargano and Riddle rushing them 2-on-4, because you know that's going to go badly eventually. But I mean, they are the baby faces, they are the headstrong guys. But I'm sorry, Gargano is smaller than all of them, so it's 1.5-on-4. And that's not me being a dick, because the guys in Undisputed Era aren't particularly huge either. Matt Riddle, I think, if you line them up in the ring, Matt Riddle is the biggest guy in that ring. Not that that's a bad thing. I like Matt Riddle, and I like Johnny Gargano. For God's sake, I like Johnny Gargano. But it's a little... It does make the Undisputed Era look a bit weak that all 4 of them are accepting challenges, like a stare-down challenge, from 2 guys. That... I don't know how to say what I'm saying right here, right now, but if 2 guys are willing to walk up to the 4 of you without fear, it means you're not that fear-inducing. Anyways, Sean Maluda versus Mansoor. Now, this was really good. This has nothing to do with any ongoing story. This has nothing to do with any pay-per-view, any title picture. This was just a really good match between 2 guys that I'm really starting to like. that don't really have a story, don't really have anything. They're just really fun to watch. Apparently they're calling Sean Maluta the Samoan Dragon now. He's either the son or the nephew of Afa of the Wild Samoans. Somebody correct me down in the comment section below. I'm sure you will. Really, really quick match, but really good. Mansoor being the newer guy. Sean Maluta being the guy who's just kind of there when they need a body. He's sort of... Actually, I was going to say he's in that Dolph Ziggler role, but considering what Dolph Ziggler did on SmackDown and what he's going to be doing at Super Showdown, he's not Dolph Ziggler. But a collar and elbow tie-up, and Maluta works the wrist, and he turns it into a takedown, Hurricane Rana, and a dropkick by Mansoor. Boot by Maluta, Samoan drop by Maluta, haluva kick, a top rope, haluva kick, and a top rope code breaker. And they go into a lot of detail on commentary. I will say, right now, I was going to say it at the end, but I'll say it now. I really do like how Beth Phoenix is working with Mauro Ranallo, and why can I not think of names and words and anything tonight? Mauro Ranallo and Nigel McGuinness and Beth Phoenix. I think they really work well together. She doesn't stick out like a sore thumb as much as Renee Young does on Raw, and I'll say it once again, you guys know I love Renee Young, hometown girl and all that, but Beth is just doing it better. Maybe because it's a 1 hour show, maybe because it's pre-taped and anything that they flub can just be fixed, I guess, but I like her, and Percy Watson was kind of useless. Neck vice by Maluta, hitting him with some forearm. Boot by Mansoor, a snap German suplex. A slingshot twisting neckbreaker by Mansoor, and then another sort of inverted DDT neckbreaker twisting thing by Mansoor. Gets the win. I like Mansoor. He reminds me of a little less polished version of Ali, and Ali is, you know, drastically underutilized on the main roster, so put him somewhere where he's going to be used properly. And Sean Maluta is just one of those guys that's just there now. I think they've sort of tried to do with his image what they did with the Usos a little bit, whereas Usos were, you know, in the flashy, big, you know, plastic, bright-colored shorts, and then they just sort of brought it down to a little bit more of like an urban feel. It feels like that's what they're trying to do with Sean Maluta as well. Imagine if you do Sean Maluta in there with the Usos and Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns. Like that could be great. Undisputed Era are heard yelling in William Regal's office. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really spaced out tonight. If it's coming through on camera, I really do apologize. The Undisputed Era storm out of William Regal's office, and in an interview, William Regal lets us know a couple of things. He lets us know at TakeOver, Matt Riddle's going to be taking on Roderick Strong, so now everybody in the Undisputed Era has something to do at TakeOver. It's basically going to be their pay-per-view, except for one other thing that we're going to talk about later. And tonight, O'Reilly and Strong are going to take on Riddle and Gargano in the main event. Then we get Velveteen Dream, who's bringing us the Velveteen Dream experience. He says the Velveteen Dream is in high demand. The Velveteen Dream is the NXT North American Champion, and I am too big to hold, which is awkward. Now, he gets interrupted, and I heard about this for weeks and weeks and weeks. The dirt sheets came out, the rumors came out, other people did videos on it, etc. It was in the back of my mind until this moment. At the moment this happened, I totally forgot that it was about to happen. So I popped huge for this. I'm not going to lie. I didn't read spoilers for this week like I do sometimes. But he's interrupted by Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze got the haircut. He's, you know, he keeps on referring to himself as an NXT OG, which he then goes on to specify means original guy, which is odd and weird and whatever. But Tyler Breeze comes out. Breeze's gorgeous chance, takes a couple of selfies, and he says Prince Pretty is home, which gets a massive, massive, massive welcome home chant. And I know it's funny for me to say massive because NXT is a really small crowd, but you get a lot of sound out of a small crowd. If you don't believe me, and I'm going to plug my own video once again, the video that I did of Josh Alexander beating MJF at the Destiny Retro show, listen to the entrance of Josh Alexander. Now, I'm biased. Josh Alexander is our guy, and the video is shit because it's filmed on my phone. But listen to the walking weapon chant. I promise you this. I love Destiny. I love the Destiny Arena, the Don Kolov, the Battle Arts Academy, where they do their shows. Is great. It's their sort of home base of it, but it's not a big place. Go back and listen to those chants, and then go back and watch tonight's NXT and listen to the welcome home chants for Tyler Breeze. You do not need a big crowd for a big reaction. He goes on to say, much like you, when I was here, everybody spoke of me in the ways that they speak of you now. Ever since I left here, NXT has become lifeless and dull, full of wannabe impersonators and cheap knockoffs. It's flattering, it really is, but there's only one Prince Pretty. Velveteen Dream, you know, he's sort of sitting in the corner, looking not very impressed. Welcome to the Dreams NXT. We do things a little bit differently here. The Spotlight wants a real man. The Spotlight doesn't want a boy. The Spotlight definitely doesn't want a boy who plays cops and robbers. Just because you can't cut it on Monday and Tuesday nights doesn't mean you get to come back here and steal my Spotlight. I'm going to say, for the rest of this promo, it is just... It is a promo designed for the smarks. They did the thing last week with the Viking Raiders, you know, if that is your real name. Him... you know, being called a boy here that's playing cops and robbers. He can't hack it on Mondays and Tuesdays. And Breeze just says, instead of getting angry, he says, well, you know what? You've inspired me, Dream. That the NXT North American Championship inspires me, and an inspired Tyler Breeze is too much for you or anybody else to handle. Velveteen Dream calls him a dollar store detective, just taking shots at the Fashion Files. Tells him he's been a dollar store detective in catering on Monday and Tuesdays. Just so you know, the line starts outside, but if you want, I'll give you a selfie with the champ. And then Breeze plays up to the crowd. He says, you know, should I take a selfie with the champ? Should I take a selfie with the champ? It's once in a lifetime opportunity. Maybe I should take a selfie with the champ. And they do the selfie thing, and they do the thing on the screen. The old school Tyler Breeze, what he's doing on the selfie thing. Comes up on screen, and he says this weird line that I didn't really understand 100%. He says, I'll give you one little piece of advice. When you put your number on your tights, don't be surprised when nobody calls. Which was weird, and then he punched him with his phone. Now, if you tell that to anybody else, if you give that spot to anybody else, why would you punch somebody with a phone? Tyler Breeze, Prince Pretty, is an unquestionable NXT favorite. His shtick is the selfies. Him punching somebody with a phone is totally fine. Wrestling. This was really, really good, and we get confirmed later on in the night that indeed it will be for the North American Championship at NXT TakeOver 25, Velveteen Dream versus Prince Pretty Tyler Breeze, and that may steal the show, I'm just saying. Candice LeRae versus Reina Gonzalez. I've got notes. I really wish I cared about Reina Gonzalez, because they really did do a whole, you know, David and Goliath thing with Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae's got the same sort of lovable underdog quality that her husband has. Not that I'm comparing the two. She wins with a missile dropkick and a lion salt. The lion salt didn't exactly hit the mark, but, you know, it is what it is. Reina Gonzalez, the jury's still out on her. For me, I don't hate her. I would love to see her in the ring with somebody her size. Love to see her, because we saw her in the crossover shows, we saw her take on Rhea Ripley. I'd love to see that again, or I'd love to see her versus somebody like a Toni Storm, or I'd love to see her, realistically, not that she would win, I hope, but I'd love to see her get a one-off shot at Shayna Baszler, not because I think she deserves the spot, but I'd love to see her face somebody her own size. And a lot of the women in NXT right now are on the small side, so everybody that's big is going to look slow and sort of lumbering by comparison, and I don't want that. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt unless their name is Bianca Belair, but we'll get that later on. Night is not over for Candice LeRae, though. She's already been beaten down by somebody twice her size, and the Horsewomen come out. They surround her 3-on-1. They give her a bit of a beatdown, and then out comes Io Shirai with a kendo stick to chase them away, and then Baszler comes back in, and she gets the shit beat out of her by the kendo stick, by Io Shirai, because they've got a match coming up at the pay-per-view in a week and a half-ish. We sort of get one of those random middle-of-the-show rundowns where they keep showing us graphics to get us excited about other stuff. They remind us that not only are we getting Bianca Belair versus Mia Yim next week, but we are also getting Drew Gulak versus fucking Shida. Oh, yeah, and I just said fucking Shida. But Kushida versus Drew Gulak, which I expect will be really, really good, because Gulak versus Riddle was fucking amazing, and I didn't expect it to be. And like I said, Gulak is one of those guys that I only care about because they seem to partner him up with really good people on NXT. I'm not tuning into 205 Live to see Drew Gulak. Hell, I'm not even turning into 205 Live to see their current champion, which is really, really unfortunate. But at least their championship match got on the main card at Money in the Bank, while Daniel Bryan, the big successful return story, who was the WWE champion at WrestleMania and should still be the WWE champion, by the way, was on the pre-show in a tag team match, in a non-title tag team match with Rowan, who's a fan of Slipknot. Yay. Now, I guess that all ties together because Slipknot does the new theme for NXT. I don't like it. It is what it is. I thought I liked it, and the more I hear it, the more it just kind of bugs me. They've had much better themes. I like the theme. I mean, I know I didn't do the UK review this week. I'm sort of all over the map tonight. Sorry, guys. But I like the opening theme of NXT UK. I like a lot of things in NXT UK. They have the best looking belts. Well, the main roster has the 205, has the 24/7 belt, which is terrible. The 24/7 belt is the PG Core title, or it's a really big watch. One or the other. Those are the only two things it can be. When I mentioned this to somebody at work today, actually, and I'm really going off the page now. I just really don't care. When Mick Foley came out to introduce it, you knew it was going to be bad. They gave it to somebody they know we love so that we wouldn't boo it as much. But oh my Christ, he got no reaction when he released that belt, did he? When he was holding the bag and a bit of the bottom of the belt was showing, and it was green, and I just thought, oh, for the love of God, I'm looking forward to the Saudi Arabia show. Go ahead and hate me, it's fine. But please don't have a Saudi Arabian championship, or the other rumor was that WWE may consider creating a Legends championship. Yeah, let's have Undertaker and Goldberg fight over the Legends championship in Saudi Arabia and make it green. At least it wasn't that. But what it is terrible. It's a Jobbers in Catering championship, which is really sad because in amongst that group you've got the Club, who are great. You've got Robert Roode, who shouldn't have the pedophile mustache, but that's another story for another day. And you got Eric Young in there. Eric Young came to NXT. I really wanted him to be something, and he's just not, is he? I don't know. Enough of that. On the main roster, you've got that. On NXT and NXT UK, you've got gorgeous title belts that actually mean something. Maybe NXT gets a union and just says, we do not go up to the main roster until you have a story for us, and we get, like, character approval or something like that. Anyways, in the realm of things not happening, right? Riddle and Gargano versus O'Reilly and Fish is your main event. We don't have Strong, we don't have Cole, which means, guess what? We're going to get them later on. Riddle and Gargano have a little bit of a debate over who's going to start the match. Gargano wants to start the match because Matt Riddle's all taped up from getting the shit kicked out of him. Whatever. Gargano and O'Reilly start the match as a collar and elbow tie-up. There's some insane chain wrestling. There's O'Reilly and Gargano one-on-one. Just have them fight for a bit. I know O'Reilly's not going to get an NXT title shot, but just have them doing this for 20 minutes. Test of strength, the body scissor by O'Reilly, crossface by Gargano, arm drags by Gargano, and a snapmare by Fish, and a sleeper. Body shots by Fish, and Riddle and O'Reilly brawl on the outside for a little bit. A sliding knee by Gargano, and a series of strikes by Riddle. Riddle hits the no shoes edition of Say It Loud, Say It Proud. One more time for the good times. The Daniel Bryan silly kicks. Oh, yes. To everybody. Exploder suplex by Riddle and forearms by Fish. Gut wrench by Riddle on Fish, and then one for O'Reilly as well. He does the weird sort of series of gut wrench suplexes. They're a little bit awkward, but they still look really, really good. Back elbow by Fish, body shots by O'Reilly, and a boot corner spear by Fish. Corner forearm, and a shot by O'Reilly. Double knees and a double suplex by O'Reilly and Fish on Riddle. Snapmare by Fish, who stomps on... yeah, I can't read my own writing. This is what happens when I get ahead of myself. Snapmare by Fish, who follows up with stomps and crossface shots to the head. Seated abdominal stretch by O'Reilly with one of the legs locked. He trades some strikes with Riddle. Ripcord knee by Riddle is really, really fucking dirty looking, and it's good. Overhead suplex by Gargano. Super kick by Gargano and a tornado DDT. Chasing the Dragon by Fish and O'Reilly, which is basically an overhead suplex with a kick. That's Chasing the Dragon. Because they were Red Dragon ones, or REDRA gone, or whatever. Chase Oliver. Go follow Chase Oliver on his channel. Find out what he called them. He called them like Redragon or something like that. Because it's spelled differently, so we have to say it differently. Anyways, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about tonight, guys. I really am sorry. Running senton and a top rope swanton by Riddle. Gargano, this was a brilliant spot too. Gargano's got him in sort of like that lawn dart position. He lawn darts him into Matt Riddle's raising high knee. it looked disgusting, and it looked this close to really fucking him up, which is what you want it to do. Powerbomb high knee combination by Riddle, but then Adam Cole shows up at ringside. He doesn't even get to interfere because he eats a suicide dive by Gargano, but while that suicide dive is being done by Gargano, there's Roderick Strong on the other side, hits a backbreaker on the edge of the apron on Riddle. They throw Riddle back in the ring. There's a high-low by O'Reilly and Fish, and Undisputed Era get the win. Not only do Undisputed Era get the win, but contrary to the beginning of the night, where 2 were taking on 4, now 4 are definitely taking on 2, and there's a 4-on-2 beatdown on Riddle and Gargano to end the match. And to end the night, rather. I was going to say, going into a pay-per-view, you want to have it so that these 4 guys that all have different title matches and matches at the pay-per-view would stand off with all their opponents. So Riddle would stand off with Strong, and Cole would stand off with Gargano, and then whatever tag team was facing Cole and O'Reilly would stand off with them, and it would be, you know, the whole, like, 2 lines coming together thing. But the thing is, Cole and O'Reilly are taking on 3 other teams, so that would be a massive numbers advantage for the babyfaces, and not all the teams in that match are necessarily babyfaces either. So I really don't know how that would go. It was a great show overall, and I've rambled for 30 minutes, so you know there was a lot to talk about. Let's talk. The greatest, I think one of the greatest, and I don't mention this enough, the great measure of a show is not only what you just saw, but what you're looking forward to seeing. So just in the immediate future, next week we have Kushida versus Gulak, we have Belair versus Yim, which I've already heard about, and it makes me smile just a little bit. And then after that, we go right on into Saturday, next Saturday, I should say, where we get Strong versus Riddle, the tag team 4-way ladder match, Baszler versus Shirai, Dream versus Breeze, and Cole Gargano 2. This is why you watch NXT. This is why, when everything else falls off the map, when I do a little bit of 205 and it falls off the map, when I do a little bit of UK and it falls off the map, when I do a couple topical videos and they fall off the map, when I do a bunch of collabs and they fall off the map, this is why the NXT reviews are the tentpole of this channel, because nothing, no matter how good it is, Cruiserweight Classic, Mae Young Classic, Dusty Classic, NXT UK, 205 Live, and some of the main roster, Destiny, AEW when it starts up, they could all fall tomorrow, and I would still be here talking to you guys as I do, getting excited because NXT is fucking awesome. Anyways, losing my voice, as you can probably tell, and I've already run out of things to say. I'm sure you're thinking in the back of your mind, thank God he's finally gonna shut up. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.